For this episode, we want to highlight Hi-Fi Cookies. Sean and his team use inspiration from childhood treats and a love of music to make distinct cookies and milkshakes. You can find their cookies at their East Nashville and Donaldson locations. Follow them on Instagram at Hi-Fi Cookies. Welcome to another episode of the Nashville Dads. This week we have on Rookie Young of the Wild Feathers. We talk about band life now that they're all dads, tour life and transitioning back to home life, his love of the evening news, and yelling at people not to drive so fast. We hope you enjoy.
Speaking of that would be awesome to have both of you.
Sure.
That would be awesome.
Or just, I'll come back, but if he wants to do it, he's great too.
Yeah.
Or Brett. Brett lives a mile from me
Okay.
in Donaldson. Joel lives in Madison. But we see each other almost every day.
Awesome. Yeah. And you know Brett.
Well, like vaguely.
Passing.
Yeah.
Like I went to Belmont at the same time as him, so weirdly enough, I my sophomore year roomed with Mike Harris.
Okay.
And
Big Mike.
another guy, Big Mike, man.
Legend.
And then Mike Harris and I, he went when Brett moved to town to go to Belmont.
Mm-hmm.
He left our 3-person room to go room with Brett.
Yeah.
So
they're still like
we
the
lived
best
on
of
the
friends.
same he lived like 3 doors down from me.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny when Justin was like, "Oh, I want if we could have someone from the Wild Feathers on the show, that'd be awesome." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, let me look up." I was like, "Oh, that's Brett." And he was like, "What do you mean that's Brett?" And I was like, "Oh, Brett, you lived 3 doors down from me."
Right.
Like, I don't know, he's a pretty nice guy. He's really good at music. Oh,
Yeah.
he's in this band. That makes a lot of sense.
Right. We toured with Apache Relay.
Yeah.
Ooh, what year was? You might know better than I do. We did. It's probably 14.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was one of my favorite tours. We had this band called Desert Noises. That was first, and then Apache Relay, and then us. It was right when our Lonely It's a Lifetime record came out. Mm-hmm. So, we're kind of riding high and feeling really good. The tour was selling great, and most of it was sold out. So Apache Relay was one of our favorite local bands.
Yeah.
And they were not a local band. They were a national.
Yeah.
But we're like, let's see if we can get them. So we did, and we all just had the best time. Too much fun.
Yeah.
Honestly. But I caught wind of them possibly. I just thought it was maybe it was a rumor. I didn't know that Apache Relay was breaking up.
Yeah.
So on that tour, Brett and I, Big Mike and I, a lot of the guys, we all became really close. So we hung out after. And I was leaving the studio one day or something, and I called Brett. We had since parted ways with our previous guitar player. Mm-hmm. And I called Brett and I said, "Hey, man, I don't know if this is appropriate or what. I don't know if it's supposed to be a secret, but are y'all splitting up?" He's like, "Yeah, man, it's done." I was like, I paused for a second and I was like, "You want to be in the Wild Feathers?" And he goes, "Yeah." And that was it.
That's awesome.
That was it.
You're technically not poaching him at that
Right.
point.
Yeah.
He's still the new guy. And it's been 8 years or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
I still consider him the new guy.
He's
whenever-
the rookie at 8 years deep.
Yeah. But he's great. And his son, Henry, and my daughter, Dylan, go to the same school, and they're actually in the same class, first grade class. Yeah. So I see him twice a day in the pickup and drop off. Yeah.
Just do the nod.
Yeah.
Hey.
We don't really care anymore. It's like, you say, hey.
Yeah, we'll see it.
Yeah.
Do you guys do you have a practice space or do you play at someone's house?
Yeah. So Joel, his entire basement is like our headquarters. Cool. It's like where all of our merch is. Like we store everything over there. It's like a 2-story house, but the bottom is a finished basement. And his wife was kind enough just to let us take it over. And Joel likes having the stuff there because he's really savvy with recording, and he's got a nice studio set up. And
cool.
It's great because we all have a lot of gear.
Yeah.
And we get to keep it over there for the most part.
I'm sure everyone's wives, except for Joel's, love that a lot.
Right. She seems to like it. She could be putting on a front, but all of our stuff, we'll come home off the road and all of our road cases are just you can't get through the bottom floor.
It's Jenga, but with guitar cases.
Exactly. It's just a mess. But we have a full blown, permanent setup for rehearsal, and then we do a lot of demos there.
Cool.
And Joel's always recording and doing stuff down there.
Nice.
So I'm guessing that room has to be pretty soundproof, I guess, with him
Yeah.
having kids.
I mean, Harrison's room is above it, but I think just since he was a newborn,
he's just gotten used to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Wow.
and he'll come down there, or like we'll all be over there, all the kids,
Yeah.
and we'll just go downstairs and do a little work or whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll come down, the kids, and they're at the age now where they pick up stuff and start playing.
That's
It's
pretty cool.
it's pretty fun. Yeah.
Do you guys mostly like if you do demos there, do you do it like during the daytime now? Have you now done your full like dad schedule switch?
Yeah,
to
we do
demos
not.
during the day
We
and
do not do the cool rock and roll kid
It's 2
thing.
a.m. man.
Yeah.
I just came up with this new riff. Are you ready for it?
No, I wish. I do miss that, but
Yeah.
no, it's impossible to.
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't get at least 6-7 hours, I'm worthless.
It sucks, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I don't know how I function. Well, I do know how I function because I slept in. I didn't roll over until noon.
Yeah.
Man.
And when I was in my early 20s, now it's like I'm well awake before my alarm even goes off.
Yeah.
It just
His mind's racing.
I
all
just
the
wake
time.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's all right though. It's part of growing up.
I feel like if I sleep past 7, because I have 3 kids, if I sleep past 7, I'm like, what's wrong? Like, I almost wake up more anxious because I'm like, is everyone alive? Like, this normally by like 6:30, someone's in our bed being like, why haven't you made me a waffle?
Right.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, I was asleep when you asked me that
Right.
question.
I'm tired from yesterday.
Do you guys switch off and let, like, especially on the weekends, but let one sleep in a little bit longer?
I personally don't. But that's because I'm a stay-at-home parent, so I feel
Yeah.
like my full-time responsibility is if a kid needs something, I do.
Yeah, my wife works a lot. She's a nurse practitioner, so she has, I call it an adult job. And she's very responsible, and she's mentally and physically exhausted throughout the week. But she kind of gets up early too.
Yeah.
I'll let her lay around, or I'll go start making breakfast or something. Or sometimes she feels like popping up, but it's mostly me. But I don't mind. I mean, I'm up anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what's great about that, it's interesting, kind of what you were saying about the your creative spurts. At 2 a.m. Now I feel like they're more around like 7 a.m.
Oh, really? Cool.
When I get up, have my coffee, and if I have time, I'll sit at the piano or the guitar and in our front room and mess around and stuff. But I don't really have the hours that I used to like I'm gonna go for a drive and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna finish this verse.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna go for a walk, or I'm just gonna walk around their house. There's no.
No.
But that's okay because, when the songs are completed, it's an extreme labor that and you achieve something.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I'll finish this in 6 months or a year. It's like, I got to get this done now.
Yeah, I think the scarcity element to time changes so drastically
It
whenever you
does,
have
man.
kids. For anything creative, not even playing music, but it's like, all right, like you get a new book and you're like, I want to sit down and read one chapter today.
Right.
3 weeks later, I finally sat
Yeah.
down and read that one chapter today.
Yeah.
How long was the chapter? 10 pages.
Right. I used to just write songs to completion all
Yeah.
the time. Now I have nothing but just really decent melodies, no lyrics.
A lot of bada bada bada.
Right. And then it's like, and then I hear da-da.
Yeah.
No, I don't want no. I'm doing ba ba ba's, not da da da.
Right, yeah.
Does that drive you insane?
It
For
used,
me, it does.
It used to.
Okay.
It used to.
At
Because
what age did that stop?
it,
Asking for a friend.
2 years in, I am still like, I need to finish. I
Right,
get
yeah.
so frustrated I can't finish.
I mean, it's frustrating. It's like
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to watch the evening news and like when sounds so old, and then when the weather comes on, not that I can't check my phone,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but like I like watching the weather on the news in the evening, and then right around then, like she'll need something, whatever.
Of
It's fine. But I'm like, okay, all right.
Yep.
That's such a dad
It
thing.
used to drive me crazy because I wasn't used to not being able to do that.
Yeah.
And, this is my means of an income,
Yeah.
at that time especially,
Yeah.
that I was like, okay, well, this is my work, so I have to be able to produce
Yeah. I got to
and do my job.
Yeah.
Right. But now I mean, maybe I should be a little bit more, not hard on her, but like more focused and prioritize that some more. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I still write a ton. So, you know, we just finished, well, I say just, we, May of last year, we finished recording a new record that's coming out this summer. And, you know, we wrote 30, 40 songs for that. And recorded, I think there's 10 on it.
Yeah.
And there's this thing that I deal with. Joel does too a little bit. It's like, what did I call it the other day? It's like writer's fatigue. You know, it's like you train. This is the way I see it. Not everyone sees it this way, but you know, you say you train for like a marathon and you run every day and you diet and, you know, you have this schedule and you try to, you know, prepare yourself. Once that marathon is over, whether you did good, bad, whatever, you don't want to think about running at least for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until your next one or you start training again or whatever. It's like, you don't want to look at your running shoes and a smoothie.
Put the medal somewhere else in a different room so you don't look at it every day.
For me, it's like, I don't want to look at a guitar. I don't want to think about music. I don't even listen to music most of the time for a period of time after we're done recording.
Okay.
And really it's after we're done mixing.
Yeah.
Because you're listening to the mixes over and over and over again. You're making critiques, you're making notes.
Wait, you don't do like mastering. Like you ship all that out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And we didn't mix it ourselves either.
Okay, cool.
But,
Just making sure.
But you know, after a while, it's like listening to yourself on your parents' answering machine when you're a kid.
Yes.
You know, and it's like I don't know. It just I get tired of it.
Yeah.
I don't know where I got off on that, but
we're just talking about I was talking to Doug, one of our friends, the other week about how, because he does music and is a songwriter.
Yeah.
I remember being in school and you listen to like the same 30 seconds of a song and you're like, I think the snare is just slightly off on the two on that one spot. Mm-hmm. And I want to put it directly on the two, but now is it too robotic? And then you look up and it's been 2 hours of you questioning 30 seconds of one song.
Right.
And you're just like, I need to just come up for air. I need to step away from this for a little bit because no one else cares about the one thing I'm overly obsessing over.
Right. And, you know, like my wife and I are big Bob Dylan fans. We named our daughter Dylan. Yeah. And I go through seasons where I listen to Bob Dylan records, nothing but Bob Dylan. And then I go through these seasons where I don't listen to him at all. And the idea of it is like gross. I was like, I don't feel like listening to Dylan right now.
Yeah.
Same with the Beatles, which is crazy. It's like,
and then your daughter's in the other room like, you don't want to listen to who?
Right. Yeah.
I get that way when I listen to you sometimes.
Yeah. It's like, God, this is the best they can do.
This is the best they can do. Wait until next summer when their new album comes out.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I was just talking about that a couple of days ago. Writer's fatigue, I think, is what I would call it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know how else to describe it. I almost feel like some part of my ego, whatever, gets annoyed whenever I've put all my identity just in one thing. And it's like, hey, you're just a stay-at-home dad. I need to leave the house for like 5 hours then, because I'm more than just like a guy who writes songs. I'm more than a guy who records albums all the time. So like, how do I step away from this identity? Because it almost feels overwhelming sometimes, numbing to only consider yourself one thing.
Yeah.
What do you do?
What do I do? I go to soccer games.
Because man, I mean that where you work is where you live.
Yeah, pretty much.
That would be.
Well, I don't know if we talked about this in the beginning of the episode or before we press recording. Whenever it gets to be like 8 p.m., I'm like, all right, everyone just needs to be done. Like, kids, I'm done. I've been hanging out with you since like 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m.
And see,
I'm good. I'm
I
done.
used to feel guilty about that.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because whether or not you're a stay-at-home dad or you're working and coming home, your body and your mind is exhausted.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I used to feel, and I still do sometimes, like all she wants to do is like hang with us.
Yeah.
She has no concept of what we've dealt with all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know? And that's great, the innocence in that.
Yeah.
But
when it gets to be 9 and they walk down the steps and they're like, hey, daddy, and you're just like, there's like, I'm...
not now, damn it.
I just want to watch one episode of True Detective. Walking downstairs.
See, I'm a Dateline guy.
I get that way like sometimes right at 5 whenever I get I bring her, I pick her up from daycare, and I bring her home. I've already dealt with just an immense amount of stress at work every day, and then she's crying on the way home. I'm just like, all right, babe, I need some time.
Yeah.
And I usually will sit on the toilet and just hang out.
There you go. Hey,
Classic dad move.
it's whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to do.
Because you don't want to be that dad that just snaps and then does something stupid or says something stupid.
But it's also hard to know how to communicate to your partner.
Yeah.
At like the end of the day, like, hey, you just got off work and your wife works from home, right? For the most part. And like you come home with a kid and like, you need dinner on the table, you need to eat, you need to start nighttime routines. And all you want to do is just have 5 minutes to stare at a wall.
Yep.
Watch the evening news.
Just watch the evening.
There you go.
Have you
Like my dad did.
have you gotten a recliner yet? Have you gotten
Oh
a
yeah.
dad-
Oh yeah. I had a recliner before she was born.
Nice.
That's just part
Does it-
of
How
it.
many cup holders does it have?
Oh, it doesn't have any. It's
Ooh, okay.
It's like a pre-kid one.
Ooh,
It was
okay.
like it's kind of, I don't know how you would describe it. It was like one of our first big purchases after we bought our first house.
Yes,
Nice.
yes.
It's kind of like a sleek, you wouldn't call it mid-century, but it's like, it's cooler.
Okay, yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm holding on to it, but I want to get like the whole blown,
full-
like NASCAR Sunday.
Dude, I should have never
That's your
gotten
throne.
rid of
Yeah.
the recliner that I had. It was an old school, probably 1970s Lazy Boy.
Broke
And it was-
in.
Yes. Well, it was my grandpa's. My grandpa gave it to my dad.
Oh, so this was a family heirloom.
Oh yeah. And then, I mean, when I got the divorce, I put it in my office, and then when I remarried, we had a small apartment, so we were like, we can't put this anywhere, and we relocated our office. I couldn't put it there either. I had one of my Puerto Ricans that just came over was just like, I want that. I was like, all right, go
That's
for
fine,
it.
man.
Yeah.
It's gotta go somewhere.
Hate to see it go though.
Yes, but now I'm like, why did I get rid of it? I should have put it in storage.
One of my friends got a recliner from Goodwill, and he thought he looked at all of it to see if like it was gross or not. You know how there's like the flaps in between like the headrest and the middle of it? He opened that up once he got it back to his house, and it was just cat hair just everywhere. And then he regretted the purchase.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not into any sort of upholstery or bedding from a Goodwill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it doesn't seem.
I went through a dumpster dive phase for a while.
Did you?
I found a leather office chair. It was when I worked at Bread and Company.
Okay.
And in the back of that, it had a dumpster and it had offices. And I guess somebody put their old leather chair in there. I was like, oh, this is great. Took it home, sat on it, and then it was just like a puff of whoever's farts.
Oh my God. See, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I was just like, no.
Oh no.
You can't have, this is gross, but you can't have other humans' dander in your house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty gross.
And especially if it's
man.
like an old person, it's like, no.
Yeah, it was probably 5 years of some dude just farting in that chair, just
making it nice and
soaking
warm
it
for you.
up. And I just went, poof, went, poof, like,
Oh, all right.
oh yeah.
See,
And I think that may have been the last of my dumpster
that's probably smart.
Yeah.
dumpster diving days.
See, we used to dumpster dive at being Belmont kids. We would just go to Vandy on their move out day, and that's how we would dumpster dive.
Dude, so were you an RA?
Yes, I was.
Okay, I was an RA at UK.
Yeah.
And these people would leave tons of stuff.
Yeah.
I found hundreds of dollars worth of change, DVD players, TVs, clothes that I just sold to not Goodwill, but Plato's Closet.
Yeah.
I found all types of stuff.
I don't miss being
Books.
that poor. by
Yeah.
the way.
Books
Hey,
that I
but
just
very,
very
resourceful.
they
though.
left
hustle.
They left books, and I sold the books back to the bookstore for hundreds of dollars.
that's great.
I wasn't poor, but shit,
You were resourceful.
I was
Right.
resourceful.
Yeah.
Yes.
We one time found someone at Vandy had thrown away a brand new MacBook in which the screen was cracked. So all I had to do was hook it up to a monitor, and it was basically a brand new MacBook.
Right.
So, yeah, if you're listening to this and you need to find something to do,
Right.
go to a college on move
Yeah,
out
no
weekend.
kidding.
Apparently,
Very
Yeah.
smart. I never would have thought of that.
No. Did you go to college? At all?
I did not.
Cool.
No.
How'd you tell me your story? What did you do?
Barely went to high school.
Oh,
I
did you
did.
really?
I did graduate.
Okay.
No, I mean, I look back on it like I kind of wish I would have went for the experience, but I was fortunate enough, I guess, to know at a very early age what I was going to chase down.
Okay.
You know, as far as songwriting and playing music. But no, I mean, I remember my parents sat me down. I think I was like into my junior year. It's like, you know, we'll help you go to school, you know. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right. And my mom or my dad was like, do you want to go? I was like, no. My dad was like, all right, great.
Good talk. Good talk.
I just saved a lot of money.
Right. Because and to be completely honest, I would have just wasted their money.
Yeah.
You know, I would have had so much fun.
Yep. Great semester or two.
Right. If that. Yeah. I mean, but looking back, I wish I kind of would have went for, you know, friendships and, you know, school stuff that I think I would enjoy now. And what I would enjoy now even more would be the education. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I could actually learn some stuff that, but you know, it's the path I chose and it felt right. And it's, you know, so far it's been pretty decent. Yeah. You know, the decision's kind of worked out, but
I'd say so.
Yeah. I mean, you know, all my other friends went to college and they're all successful and great. Yeah. But you know, a lot of times they'll be like, "Man, but you're doing exactly what you want to do." I was like, "Yeah, but you have 4 houses and."
Dude, that's not
normal.
It's not normal, and sometimes that money is not
I know,
worth
I know,
it, man.
and that's what you learn as you get older. But you know, in your 30s and stuff, it's like, wow, you have all that, and you know, it's just it is what it is. But I'm happy that I was fortunate enough to realize what I wanted at an early age.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because a lot of people,
a basketball player, but that.
Yeah. See, if I can go back, I'd, you know, and if I had the natural God-given talent, I'd play professional golf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, that would have been great. Play golf every day. But then, you know, make all that money, and then you start hating golf.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
But.
Anyway. Are you originally from Texas?
I was born in Pensacola, Florida.
Oh, okay, cool.
But my parents, when I was 1 or 2, moved to Katy, Texas, outside of Houston.
Okay.
And that's where I grew up. I claim Texas. I'm a Texan.
Cool.
You know, I was born in Florida, raised in Texas, and grew up in Tennessee. It's kind of how I...
Oh, really?
When you moved to Tennessee?
Yeah, I just kind of like turned into a man. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, gotcha.
I
self-actualized.
Right. Like, I was on my own, you know, learned a lot. And I've been here for 19 years now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So just about as long, almost as long.
Few.
Yeah, almost as long as I was in Texas.
Yeah.
So
that's a weird moment. I think I moved here in 2006. Mm-hmm. So in the next 2 years or so, it would be I've lived here for as long as I lived in Indiana.
Very strange.
And it's a weird moment, more just to realize that you can be that old.
Right.
Yeah. Every single time I'm like, I've been here for almost 16 years. What?
Yeah.
I know.
How's that a thing?
I thought I'm 18.
Yeah, I know.
If only I was.
Yeah. Now you're like yelling at people to slow down in front of your house. And
yeah. Now you,
Oh, I'm that guy. I'm
me.
that guy.
Slow down, you hooligan.
Yeah, I'm totally that guy.
Have you... This is a very old person talk. Have you looked into getting speed bumps or speed humps put on your street?
I did in my old neighborhood.
That's whenever I realized that we were
I was calling
old.
people. Yes. That's one of the main reasons we moved. We lived in Inglewood. Mm-hmm. And it was a great house. Great for 2 adults.
Yeah.
And it was like 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It was great. We got it for nothing. And what year was it? 07 or 08 or something like that.
Yeah.
And when Dylan was born, it just a kid this big takes up.
Somehow every room is smaller. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're like, we got to get out of here.
What were we thinking?
Right. But we loved that house. Yeah. We still own it, fortunately. But there was a budget breaks on Gallatin Road, and they would work on cars and they would come test them on our damn street.
Yep.
And they would fly and then slam on the brakes. And I have a 2-year-old out there.
Yep.
And I know And I would have straight words with these dudes, and you know, like, and then they would just flip me off, and like, I'm sitting here with like my daughter and my nieces
At my house.
At my house, like, there's Gallatin Road, there's Briley Parkway right there.
So we live in South Nashville, and we don't have that. We have the souped up cars.
Yeah, Nolensville has some serious drag racing on it.
That just they'll drag race on our street. I don't know about yours.
Now we got those speed bumps, baby.
Yeah, well, for some odd reason, they're not getting on ours.
Yours weren't. Your street wasn't dangerous enough.
Yeah,
but holy crap! I mean, from Harlan, they do that turn on the Drake, and they just floor it, and I'm just like, what the f?
Yep.
yeah, yeah. That kind of stuff pisses me off.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't really bother me until I had a kid. The street we're on now is very little traffic. There is a house on the corner of our street that's a rental, and there's like 5 probably Belmont kids.
Yeah.
And I don't know that by any means, but they, you know, we had to start. I was like, mow your yard, It's like knee high.
Yeah.
And all of us try. It's
You're gonna
ridiculous.
Track foxes. Like, what are you doing?
You know, trying to make the neighborhood look nice.
Exactly.
You know, I remember I rented until we bought our first house, and I mowed those yards.
Yeah.
You know, come on.
Yeah.
So we the neighborhood all joined in, and we got like Hub Nashville or something. I was like, you gotta cut that. You know, come on. Yeah, we're getting old, and I don't care.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's funny though.
They're having house parties. I'm like, all right.
Okay. They better stop at 9.
Well, you know that movie Neighbors, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that's exactly.
That's you, Seth Rogen in this
It's like
scenario.
try to be cool, but like
Hey friends,
See,
this
mine
was
are-
a cool party. Can you be done within 20 minutes, please?
right.
My neighbor just has a zoo, or had a zoo. Had a peacock, couple geese, ducks, 5 dogs, couple cats. All dead, by the way. All just
They were just dead, and
They didn't start dead, right?
no, they didn't start
okay.
dead.
it's like
They
okay,
started
all
off
that's
as just
dead in the
pets.
yard.
Interest. So he lives next to a serial
Smells
killer.
great.
No, it was their little girl, and she is very sweet. But whatever she wanted, animal wise, they would just get it.
They would figure it out.
Oh yeah, I don't know how you get a peacock. I
Go
think
to
he
the
may have
zoo.
stole it from
no,
the
no,
zoo.
The zoo always has that peacock just wandering around.
Yeah,
Right.
You just buy some peacock treats.
and then as soon as that would die, because they would just leave it out in the cold and the heat, they'd get something else. It's insane. So, yeah,
It's like a pet cemetery now. Though.
probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, one of the ducks poked its head through the. We have a what is it called?
Chain link fence?
Chain link fence. Stuck its head through,
Oh no.
and Sophie or Rue just pulled it through and just killed it.
Oh, no, your dogs?
Oh yeah, and then
no.
brought it up in the back door for my wife. So as soon as my wife opened the door, there was a dead duck, and she just screamed. Took a picture. I'm at work, sent it to me, and then called me screaming.
It was like,
I was like, I will get to it when I get home.
Can't do anything.
And
right
when
now.
I got home, here's my neighbor and his little girl looking everywhere for that duck, and I'm like, Joe.
hey, buddy.
I'm like,
I got something to tell
Are
you.
you looking for that duck? He's like, yeah. I'm not sure. It may have flown off. I was like, no, it didn't fly off. It's dead underneath that orange bucket over there.
Oh my gosh.
And then you're like, hey, Joe, have you introduced your daughter to the concept of death and mortality yet?
Well,
Because you're about to.
she's learning.
Life's lessons.
Jeez, oh, Pete's. God bless.
Yeah. Things die.
You
Yep.
do.
But crazy neighbors.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd much rather have that, I guess, than the crazy party neighbors that are next door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to be fair, they're not that bad. And they're like 3 or 4 houses down. It's
Oh,
not
gotcha.
that bad. But they do park in the street.
Oh, yeah. It is kind of funny. I don't know if it's because
Oh,
I'm getting
yes.
older or what. There's like 2 houses down. They definitely do band practice and stuff. Yeah, I don't care. That's fine. Be done by like 9.
Yeah, that was me. That was us.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
understand it. But for some reason, they park at the end of my driveway. So the way they park is basically like you have to account for the car every single time. So like usually picks me up before we come here and like record. And I'm like, hey, man, sorry, that van is at the end of my driveway again. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what point do I leave a note?
Right.
And like, how angry of an old man do I feel like leaving a note on some kid's windshield when they're parked there for like 2 hours every once in a while?
Whatever gets the message across. If it's a dead duck.
If it's a dead duck. Do you still have that duck?
No.
On the windshield, smeared in blood.
Yeah.
Do not park here.
Just get your message across. Speaking of dad life and everything, how you make most of, like, whenever you're in a band, you usually make money, I feel like, from going on tour, right?
Yeah.
How,
That's the only way now.
That's what I thought. Yeah, because few people buy records anymore or any physical merchandise.
Right.
When you go on tour, do you like work your schedule so that you aren't gone for too long from your daughter and family and everything? How does touring look as a father?
Yeah, we try.
Yeah.
The timing, I was telling you earlier, that is very strange. So 3 of us had children 3 months apart.
Oh, man.
It was like post World War II, coming home off a tour.
Yeah, man.
And we all knew that we were all about to start having kids. It wasn't like, oh man, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
My wife's pregnant. It was like, great. It was a celebration,
Yeah.
Actually, when Brett told me, they had a big party, and they surprised us and said, thanks for coming over, everybody. Just want to let you know that we're pregnant. And everyone was like, wow. And I gave him a big hug, and I said, no one knows, but Haley is too. And it was like this moment between me and him.
That's cool.
And then not long after that, Joel said that they were pregnant. So it was awesome. So Brett needed some time off. I knew that Dylan was going to be born not long after Henry was born. I needed time off. And not long after Dylan was born, Harrison was going to be born. Yeah. All the wives are close. We're all close. We all live very close. It was a time for us, 3 out of 5 of us, to be like, okay, let's take some time off. And we've been hitting the road so hard for those however many years before 17. And we were, I can speak for myself. I was pretty burnt out on, being gone for months at a time.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. And it's even when you're just dating or what, you just want some sort of normality, like use your own bathroom, sleep in your own bed, like
something that you can predict.
Go to your own local bars, your coffee shops, and see your own friends, and not always kind of be on like you are kind of at a show, and not complaining, but sometimes that gets exhausting.
Yeah,
you just want to be at home. So we all kind of took that year off, made some interesting decisions when the kids were born on the business side that felt great at the time, but ultimately really, really hurt us as far as, some management decisions, some booking decisions. Ended up getting dropped from our record deal. That was the January or February of 20 when we lost our booking agency, our record deal, and then our management dropped us all within like 3 months of each other.
That's pretty brutal.
And then like the next week or whatever, next month maybe, tornado hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're like, all right, this is kind of weird. We were already talking with different management companies and had stuff kind of like in the works. Management company we were talking with, we really liked, they got blown away by the tornado, like the building did. They're like, we can't. And it's like, okay,
we got to figure some
that's a sign, you know. Like, and then not long after the tornado, obviously the C word.
Yep.
And that's when it really kind of got scary as far as like we and any other musician has always known, well, they can take away record sales.
Yeah.
They can take away this. They can never take away touring.
Yeah.
And by God,
they took away touring.
They took away touring
for like a year or two.
And it hurt us. It hurt me tremendously financially because that's all I or we did for money, and we were fine.
Yeah.
We were, in some cases, really good. It ebbs and flows and stuff like that, but like low overheads and stuff like that, and we were always used to touring, coming home with money. So we, after taking a year or two break and then making some questionable decisions and then COVID, we're like, oh my God, what are we doing? We didn't have a deal, we didn't have a record deal, we didn't have management, nothing. So we eventually started like, clawing our way out of that hole. Made a record on our own, medium rarities, which is like B-sides and like cover songs that we just thought would be fun to put out.
Yeah.
Keep our fans kind of engaged during 20. And then we decided we're going to produce a record ourselves and shop it and get another record deal.
Sure.
So that was a lot of work, especially on Joel. He, because he's that studio kind of guy. And we did it ourselves in a cabin somewhere in Van Leer, Tennessee. And we went shopping it. And the first label that we took it to, we're like, yeah, man, let's put it out. I was like, all right, well, we had to act like we were cool. Like, we're going to go talk to some other people.
Yeah, let me call this guy back real quick.
But it was ultimately a label that we really were interested in going with.
That's great.
New West. And it's been great since. We put that record out as is. It didn't touch anything. So that felt very, we're very proud of that. Like, we did that ourselves, went and achieved the exact thing we set out to do. And then, that was, God, I don't know what year that was. That was 21 that came out. And then, toured on that. And touring was still very strange.
Yep.
Like, our numbers just went low, especially for, like, what we were used to. And we're trying to figure out, like, what is it, COVID? Is it us? Like, did we get canceled? We just don't know about it.
Yeah.
Or is it all these mistakes that we've made prior to this thing happening? And we were trying not to, and still, not being like having the why me's, but very adamant on getting back on track.
Yeah.
So that's what this new record is really about. We worked so hard writing, preparing, obviously recording, went out to LA and did it with Shooter Jennings.
Oh, cool.
Which is,
hey, man.
He's fantastic. We've known him for quite some time, and he was kind of like the sixth member. Like,
That's really cool.
he was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, almost to a fault. Like, he's like, oh, that's great. I'm like, are you sure, man? Like, are you sure that's good? Because, I probably could do it better. He's like, no, it's great. I'm like, all right. So the record's called Sirens. And that's, what that means to us kind of is, the mythology of like a siren, drawing in people, the sailors or whatnot, to be ultimately to their death. We are kind of looking at that like the business side of things. You know what I mean? Like, would we have done all this knowing what we were in for over this decade? You know what I mean? And the answer would be yes. So the five of us are unbelievably resilient together. Individually, not so much. But the five of us together is something that, like, I don't want to be cheesy or whatever, but it's special. Like, we get kicked down. We've been kicked down so many times that people don't even know about. Like,
Sure.
You know what I mean, on the business side. And we bitch and moan to each other.
Yeah.
But then, like, all right, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Dust yourself off, go back to work. Ultimately, because we just want to see it come into fruition. We want to see it work itself out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what we set out to do when we were kids, we want to see it through. So that's what this record's all about. And, God knows, we'll have to start writing a new one soon, too. So
While writing the record, did one of you tie yourselves to the front of a ship and then cover your eyes so you could lead the rest of the ship through it? Yeah, that's an Odyssey reference. There you go.
if it was anybody in the band, we would tie Joel to the front of the ship. Yeah.
You're good.
And he would be like, okay, this is sweet. I'll do this.
Yeah. Can you make the ropes a little looser?
Right, yeah. But yeah, man, we're super proud of it. And
Cool.
we haven't released, I mean, like any info on it really, as far as I don't even know if we're supposed to be talking about the title,
Hey,
but
it's
I don't
okay.
care. It's my band. I can say it, right?
I was gonna say, if you want us to release this later, we can.
No, I don't care. I mean, we want people to know it's coming out.
Okay,
So,
that's cool.
you do
That's
benefit
awesome.
from
so they
people
can
knowing
rush
about
to the
your
record
music.
store and buy it at midnight, right?
That's right.
So we
I
can,
know,
Pre-orders.
So
I know
we
a
can pay
group
our
of people
bills.
that will.
yeah. But yeah, we're super
Cool.
we're super happy with it, and I'm just so proud of those guys and us. Like I said, as a group,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we are something special.
Yeah.
And I think our fans that come and see us, they drive hundreds and thousands of miles to come to a show that's like within their circumference.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It means something to them, and that makes it mean so much more to us.
Yeah,
and
of
I'm not
course.
sitting here like we're so great, and like every band has mega fans, you know what I mean? But only those bands can talk about how special their relationship is with their fans, because only they know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can speak on is how well we know our audience and how much love and support they give us.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to, of course, nurture them and grow it.
Yeah.
You know, and however long that's going to take, who knows? But
Yeah. To some extent, whenever you realize that people are willing to drive 100, maybe thousands of miles to see you have a responsibility almost to those people to like keep on doing what you're doing.
We take it very seriously.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we go out after every show and talk with everybody we can, and I think that's really paid off a lot because it means a lot to them, and they don't necessarily realize that it means a lot to us too.
Yeah.
Like you're here, you know,
Yeah.
like thank you, because otherwise we'd be playing for the bartender.
Right, yeah. And a lot of bands have stories of that. Or we had on Jeremy Ivy the other week, and he was talking about how, like, starting out with Margot, like, you go and play to bartenders. You spend 10 hours in a van.
Literally the staff.
You play to one staff member, and then he goes out to go pee, and then you play to an empty room.
Right.
That's how people pay their dues, basically.
and he knows all about that. We know all
Yeah.
about that. Anyone that said they never, well, if you look at modern day country music, a lot of those kids had never played to an empty room. They
Yes.
jump on a bus and they go play soft ticket festivals in,
Yeah.
you know, Missouri, and they get paid $45,000 a night. And it's like, you don't understand. You don't understand what
Spending 12 hours in a van, drinking Red Bull to stay
pissing
awake
in
for
jugs.
the drive.
You know, and I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
But a lot of, and I can say this, I don't care. Like a lot of these modern day, certain genre, whatever kind of musicians or artists, they have no idea. Like,
It's a different reality.
right, sleeping, waking up in a van, you know,
Yep.
and I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was
Yeah.
awesome. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to go back and do it,
Yes.
but
When you guys tour now, do you do vans? Do you do tour buses?
we do a little bit of both.
Cool.
We were doing buses, some, and then, you know, all that crap happened.
Yeah.
And then we use a lot of times we use a bandwagon. Have you heard of those?
No.
They're great. They're very dangerous, but they've been good to us. It's like a bus without the back lounge. I mean, it's built for touring bands.
Okay.
So it has 8 or 9 bunks, like, you know, actual bunks, TVs, refrigerator, full-size refrigerator, microwave, kitchen.
Wow.
It's great. Bathroom, shower.
Oh.
But it's like 4 square wheels. I mean, it's like
Oh,
you're
okay.
like, it does not have that air ride down the highway hovering, you know, like
It's
like
not a smooth ride.
if you're hitting anything, you're feeling it
Yeah.
while you're sleeping. But
Oh man.
it's great because it's a dressing room on wheels, right? Like
Yeah.
that's why they're so handy. Is because you can just have your stuff on there,
Yeah.
step out when you need to step out, go play PlayStation or something.
Yeah.
Have your space and then go back. You know what I mean? But no, I mean we're proudly not. You know, we still do the van quite often.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something, man. I didn't think at 41 years old. But you know, we've tasted it, and maybe that's what makes it not so
Yeah.
sweet. But it's still a blast. I mean, we still love it. Getting in there and
Yeah.
just cutting up and being, you know, a bunch of 18-year-olds again.
I listened through Dan Ozzie has a book called Sellout, and he goes through like all the pop punk bands from the early 2000s and what it was like when they signed on to a major label. and the band Rise Against, their main guy, he refused to get a tour bus because he was like, once I go tour bus, I'm never going back to the van. So they would have like a trailer that was, like double the size of the van they were driving just because he refused to ever go to a tour bus.
Right. Yeah. It's hard. It's a big dose of humble pie when you go back.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's part of our story.
Yeah, it's
you know
fun,
what I mean?
yeah.
And we weren't like in a bus, like this is how we live now.
Yeah.
It's just like there were some tours and it was great.
Bus worked out.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just a like a full blown aging rock and roll band. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's true. Yeah. I mean, we've been together for 12 years.
That's awesome, man.
So.
But you got some loyal fans out there.
Yeah,
man.
we do, and we're very thankful for that. I mean, and we get to play shows, and we have fans.
And people show up.
Right.
That's not a guarantee sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, when you were talking about the special relationship with fans and
Mm-hmm.
yourself, when you played for the Goodbye to Mercy Lounge,
Mm-hmm.
and after the show, you got like in the middle of all the fans and played a cappella.
Yeah.
Dude, that was special.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
We did that on that tour, and that was a big success. It was very stressful.
Was it?
Well, just because, like, it's kind of the last thing you wanted to do is, like, you wanted to go sit in the back and drink a beer.
Yeah.
I just worked on stage.
I really need to pee, But, yeah, that was cool. And once we got out there and did it, it was great.
Oh, yeah. They had lights shut down, and it was awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
One of my most memorable experiences, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Rock history right there.
Have you gotten used to yet? So I feel like whenever you're a musician, your job kind of starts sometimes at like 10 p.m. at night or so. Whenever you're home, how does that affect your like circadian rhythm, or
Like
do you
transitioning?
Yeah,
back
transitioning
into,
from all right, man, your job doesn't start until you might sound check, and then at 10 p.m. people have waited their entire day to watch you do your job, basically.
Yeah, and I am dog tired.
Are you really?
After dinner, like after we sound check and all that and eat, like the guys just give me such a hard time because I'm just like
You're in a
just
recliner taking
dead.
a nap.
Yeah,
Just drink coffee to
right.
amp yourself
and then
back
as
up.
the time, like first band goes on, or if we're first, like by the time you start hearing
You feel
crowds
it. Yeah, you
and-
feel the energy rising.
yeah, I get going again, but there's definitely a lull.
Yeah.
And then when I'm back home, it's like there's no grace period. It's just like right back at it, which is fine.
Yeah.
Because she's been dealing with her the entire
been solo
time
parenting
and
while I've been
working.
out, yeah.
Yeah. So no, I don't mind. It does take a couple days just to get my head right.
Yeah.
But of course, I miss them,
Yeah.
and so I'm like anxious to be around them. And then sometimes they're just like, it's weird for them that I'm home.
Yeah.
That's only when I'm gone for like more than 2 weeks, which we try to keep it around 2 weeks now.
Okay.
And then be home for a little bit and then hit 2 weeks again.
Do you guys do a lot of FaceTime when you
Oh,
are?
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's cool because now, I can call my wife and be like, "Let me talk to Dylan." She's like, "Hey, Daddy," and just like have a conversation, not even have to FaceTime.
Yeah.
That is I love my kids getting older because of stuff like that.
Right.
Because if it's like if I wanted to FaceTime my 2-year-old, like I can't have a phone conversation with my 2-year-old, but if FaceTime of me getting motion sickness as he runs around holding the phone, I can do that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Versus 8-year-old, if my mom or dad calls us like, "Hey, I want to talk to Holly. Here you go." Then
Right.
we'll go off and have a full conversation for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's great.
It's really cool.
Yeah, that's been helpful. But it's also hard because they're old enough to realize that like you're leaving, and they have to deal with that. And
We just had that conversation on the car ride here.
yeah,
Because his son, I guess, for a while was having a hard time whenever you left.
I think so,
correct?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, mine could give a shit.
right, right.
I'm like, all right, I'm leaving. And she's like, oh, okay.
Cool.
It's usually when the TV's on, though.
Right.
She could
Yeah.
care less.
It's
Yeah.
also funny because it depends on what day. Like tonight, coming here, I like went up to my tutor and I was like, "All right, Josh, I'm leaving. I'll see you later." He gave me a hug, opened up the door, and said, "See ya."
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then almost shut the door on me. So
Right.
I'm like, "All right, last week you screamed and cried. This week it closed the door on me. Cool,
Right,
good to know."
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they're interesting. I mean, I'd rather her not be sad when I'm leaving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's easier for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like I'm going on a golf trip.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go spend money. I'm hopefully going to go earn money and come back. That's what I do for work. So, yeah, but it's tough. I mean, I don't think any of us realize how. Maybe it's just tougher on me. Maybe other people don't really. They're like, I can't wait to get out. And there's some of that for me too. Like, I can't wait just to be around the dudes and worry about myself. You know, I'd be lying if I said that wasn't the case. But after like day 2, I'm like, all right,
I'm good.
Yeah, I want to go home.
Yeah.
You know, I always say too that I wish that I could just push a button and all the fun parts of being on the road would start. You know, not the 8-hour ride, not the flights, not the airports, you know, not killing 8 hours between load in and showtime, and just doing the fun parts.
Yeah.
Do that
Yeah.
every day of my life, you know. But then there are also some of the struggle stuff. You look back, it's like, man, that was a blast. We just didn't realize it then.
Yeah.
You know.
I think Pete Holmes did a podcast with Ben Gibbard of Death Cab once. He was talking about the first time they did a tour in Paris, and it was the first time they'd been in Paris. So they spent the whole day walking around Paris, and then they like got back to the venue, and they're like, "I'm too tired to play a show. How do I deal with this?" So
Right. Yeah.
it's kind of funny because I would probably do the same thing. Like, oh man, I've never like. I think it would take me a while. I'd be like, I'm in a new city. I should explore the city. I should see what's up, and then get to 10 p.m. and be like, now I have to do my job. That's the last thing I want to do right now.
When we're overseas, we'll go, like, you've never seen it before, so like, you go check stuff out.
Of course.
But, like, I've been in Chicago, like, 900 times.
It's the Bean, though,
Like,
man. You got to go see the Bean.
Where's the
gotta touch
closest
the bean.
sports bar with
right.
wings?
Yep.
And if there's a game on, I want to walk there. I don't want to get in an Uber or anything like that. Taylor, he's a food guy, and he always has the restaurant to go to.
Nice.
And he always tricks, especially me, because he talked me into most things. He's like, "Come on, Rick, just it's like 1.3 miles, whatever." You know, and he's lying. It's like 2.7.
Oh, he's one of those.
Yeah.
It's a 10-minute walk.
And I have to be fair though. It's always great because he knows what he's looking for and what he's doing, especially with Asian food. Like he just, he knows what he's doing. So I usually trust him. But like, dude, I don't want to, you know, the museums and all that. Like, you know. I've done all that, I guess. And sometimes if it's a beautiful day, you know, I'll go somewhere.
What's the coolest city outside of the U.S.?
We've done really well in Spain.
Okay.
So like Valencia, Madrid, obviously.
Oh, man. I bet they're beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other cities there. And I can't remember where in Australia we played a festival. I'm sure someone knows. The festival is called Splendor in the Grass. And we're about to start a tour with Band of Horses. And that was like the first unofficial show of that tour. But the tour was in the U.S. So it was just kind of a weird, random. We're like, hey, good to meet y'all. We're going to be touring, you know, when we get home. But that was crazy because, you know, it's like a 17, 18, maybe more hour flight.
Yeah.
You get there and it's like completely
it's
reversed.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, like they put us up, we each had our own beach condo, like not like sharing with anybody.
Oh,
Wow.
And they were small and they weren't like super fancy, but it was
Still
super
a beach
deluxe.
condo in Australia.
Yeah.
So like the sun would be coming up and I'm just like wide awake. So I would walk down and watch the sun come up over the ocean.
That's pretty cool.
You know, that was insane. I wish I could remember what city that was.
That's all good.
Wherever Splendor in the Grass is, that's where. Stuff like that, you know, and, you know, done quite a bit in Germany and, you know, stuff like that. So seeing all that stuff for the first time is great. And if I was, when we go back, I'm going to want to see some of the other stuff too. But like I said, Chicago or like, you start going to cities enough and you know where to go.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's go back to that place. And that was cool. You know, they had cheap beer or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the days of like, let's go see the White House. I don't know. I think I want to sit here, just sit here.
Stare at a wall for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Do you think, do you ever hope to be able to take your wife and daughter with you to Europe sometime? If you ever do a European tour again?
We played a festival in Valencia, Spain. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
and we all took. Well, I took my wife. Ben took his pregnant wife.
Oh wow!
And I think that was all the wives that went. Yeah, and Claudia was pregnant. They have a little boy now, Oliver, and she was very pregnant. And so we headlined this festival. So we thought, and it was like us, Nikki Lane, Kendall Marvel. It was like a really nice festival, and for whatever reason, we do well in Spain. It's like one of those. Don't understand it, but we're not complaining.
But they're awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we went and did that. So we thought they're putting us up in this like resort, like mountainous type resort, like sweet. Like the joke is whenever we bring our wives, it's like crap. Okay. And then when the wives can't go, we're in this incredible free.
We've upgraded you to, didn't it?
Yes, and it's like insane places. And my wife's like, and it's like a joke. She's not actually pissed, but she's like, "Oh, that figures." I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "Here's our chance."
Yeah,
we're headlining. There's no way they're going to put us up. And it's like, look at the pictures. It was great.
We're on the banners,
right?
Yeah.
We get there, and we're all excited, and we get to the resort, and it's the biggest heat wave in like 100 years in Spain. And they don't have air conditioning. They do not have air conditioning. We went to the front, obviously there's a language barrier.
Yeah.
And Taylor could speak a little Spanish enough to like, hey, fan or something. Yeah. They're like, no. And Claudia is like 7 months pregnant or something like that.
Oh my God.
And she's miserable. We are miserable.
Yeah.
And so Haley and Claudia go on a mission to find a hotel with air conditioning for them two. I'm like, just go. Haley had lost her phone charger, her adapter.
Oh no.
So I said, just go take my phone charger and let someone know that you made it. You can't text me. I don't have service. I'm in this. Ultimately, it was like being locked up abroad.
Yeah.
It was unbelievably hot. Like, slept with our windows up and bugs are all flying in your mouth. You couldn't. There was nothing. The only thing I could watch on TV was like boxing on mute because I didn't understand, any of the TV shows. And I was there for like a whole day just in solitary confinement,
Sweating.
Yeah.
Not able to watch the evening news.
No.
Oh man.
The show was great, and that we had a lot of fun with our friends, Mike and the Moon Pies, and a lot of bands like that. I'll never forget when we pulled up. That's how it all started. We pulled up to the resort. I saw all the Mike and the Moon Pies guys, or Silverado now is what they're called. But they were all sitting. It didn't look like they were doing too good. And I was like, oh, they probably just flew in. They're tired. And they're all just drinking beer, like hot beer outside. And we get out, and they're looking at us like, dude, there's no air conditioning. There's no nothing. Like, the beer's not even cold. Like,
oh, that's got to be miserable.
They were like sitting on the front porch of like what looked like an old Western town. They're just like. So we became very close with them and just proceeded to drink our way through it. But the show and everything was great. But yeah, typical take your wife.
It'll be great. We're the headliners.
Right.
We're going to get 5-star everything.
Right. And it just.
What's their scale of 5-star? Because 5-star to me is a little different.
I don't know, man. It's funny to look back on now, but man,
in the moment, that's a lot. Like every part of me, if that would happen to me with my wife, I'd just want to be like, I'm so sorry. You can fly back if you want.
Right.
I completely understand.
Yeah. It was something.
Okay. So how we end every episode is we ask every guest the same 5 questions.
Okay.
So Justin is pulling up on his phone, and I have it pulled up on my phone, and this is me doing filler talk.
Okay, great.
All right. For Dylan, did you have a backup name for her?
No. We were laying in bed one night. We had found out that we were having a girl. We were both completely in shock. We both just knew it was going to be a boy. I don't know why we thought that.
Yeah.
And laying in bed one night, and my wife Haley goes, "What about Dylan Lou?" I was like, "Yep." And that was it. Dylan, nice. Bob Dylan, and then Lou after Haley's grandmother, Barbara Lou.
Yeah.
And rolled off the tongue, sounded perfect. And I was like, yep, rolled over, went to bed, and that was it. Never debated over it. And there was no other options and
That's
nothing.
really cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I look at her now, it's like there's like I'm sure y'all do with your kids. Like
Yeah.
you couldn't be named anything
Yeah.
else.
Nope, no other name.
She is totally a Dylan.
Next question.
All right.
Do you have a favorite TV dad?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll have to think about that for a second. Well, not to date myself too much, but probably someone like Carl Winslow
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I think of.
Yeah.
Hard worker, loyal dad, loyal husband. Perfect model, American home.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Sitcoms always make it seem like everything's like, oh, at the end with the music and it's gonna be all right. You know?
Whenever I finish bedtime, there's always a little theme song that plays.
Right.
In our house,
Yeah.
doesn't that?
The nice mood music when
Du-du-du-du.
right when you apologize or something. Yeah, I don't know. Carl Winslow seems like a good one. to me.
All right, next question. Do you have a least favorite kids show or movie? One that Dylan watches over and over again. You're like, oh God, not
Please,
again.
no.
Thank God there's so many good ones now.
Yeah.
I mean, Frozen, I did have my moment with Frozen. I was like, I can't do this anymore. But then after a while, I was like, that's, pretty decent.
It's
Yeah.
fine. This works.
Sometimes she'll find something that's like very low budget. I don't know if you've come across those where like the technology, like you could tell someone's like, it's like the first.
They're usually on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, my God. We got her out of for a while, she was into like the unboxing stuff.
Oh yes.
And I was like,
Man,
get
those
it.
those people make
They
millions.
make so much money.
and I was like, Dylan, this is not real life.
I don't
Like, this is
understand
not,
this.
because she wanted those things.
Yeah.
And we're just like, that's not how it works. They're doing this for their sad parents that are making them do this. Like, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
No one can afford that.
No.
These kids don't get a toy every day,
No.
But yeah, that's my least favorite is the unboxing YouTube crap.
Yeah.
But we've got her out of that. She doesn't do that
good.
anymore, thank God.
It's such there's so many things that people view for entertainment now that
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how is this entertaining to you?
Well, just the watching somebody else play a video game.
Oh my
Twitch
God.
Why
doesn't
not-
make any sense to me at all.
Why not play the video game yourself?
Exactly.
But they're playing it.
But-
So,
Yeah, I'll never understand
No,
that.
No.
me neither.
it's great. I love having the first signs of things that make me feel like a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
To be like, back in my day, we played the video.
Right.
game.
Yeah.
You ever played Duck Hunt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now I can
Such a
watch someone
great
on
one.
Twitch play Dunk.
I know, that
for
makes
5
no
hours.
sense. Yep.
It just sounds boring.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm not.
It is boring.
Next question: do you have a favorite kids' toy or activity that, like, when Dylan does it, you actually like, or a kid's toy that you actually like playing with Dylan?
Well, I'm trying to get her into golf.
Okay.
And she's got a good natural swing. That's my dream, is for us to go play in the evenings or something.
Oh, yeah,
like
that's
how I
awesome.
grew up.
Yeah.
So any sort of thing outside, preferably, we're starting to work on. We have our yard is like a little over an acre, so we have this, like, down this hill. We have this what is going to be an incredible clubhouse. We started planning it, like cutting stuff out, and I want to make her all kinds of stuff like that. So like
cool.
little activities like that. She's very creative, so she's really good at drawing and like painting and stuff like that. I think so.
Yeah.
So I love seeing her in her element. Like the other day I walked in, and we got her this for Christmas, like this Alexa, like radio thing. It's like a little owl, and she'll say, like, Alexa, play whatever, and it's like good music. and I walk into her room, and she's like a teenager, but she's 6, and she's like drawing and listening to cool music. I'm like, God, this is crazy.
That's awesome.
I was like, all right, you good? All right, I'm gonna go cook or something. I'm just gonna sit in the living room. But yeah, I think seeing her create and do that kind of stuff is kind of my favorite thing. As far as toy goes, she has so much crap. I
Haven't found it yet.
Right.
Doesn't every kid?
I know.
It seems like.
Well, unless you ask the kid. If you ask the kid, they don't have anything,
Yeah,
and you've never bought them
dude.
anything in your life.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. What moment of your kid's life are you most excited to be a part of? I think you may have already answered it with the golf.
Yeah. I mean, and that's my dream. I don't know if she's gonna. If she doesn't, that's fine. I mean, you're not gonna like this being from Kentucky, but I would love for her to play University of Tennessee, and I can just drive 3 hours and.
Well, we can all agree on this podcast that Kentucky is the worst college for basketball and sports in general, right? Is that,
Right now, yeah.
Well, you never know.
I'm an Indiana fan, so I naturally despise all
Well,
things
that's
Kentucky.
easier for you to say. Yeah, that would be great. Just I like to fish a lot and hunt and stuff like that. So anything I can do with her outdoors, but there's a fine line between like wanting them to do it and pressuring them, and then them really wanting to do it. So if I could just spend an evening or a morning on a boat with my daughter fishing, that's like as good as it gets for me.
Yeah.
So, and then if we can go play 9 holes after that,
It would be golden.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, Ricky, that's all we've got for
Man,
you.
thank y'all so much. It's fun.
Do you want to like promote yourself anyway? You already said you've got a new album coming out sometime soon. Do you want to promote like your Instagram handle? How do we follow you? How do we keep up with you?
It's just all the Wild Feathers.
Cool.
Instagram, Facebook,
The Wild
Spotify,
Feathers.
all that crap that I don't understand.
But luckily someone in your
It's
band
on
does.
there. Yeah. Well, no, it's really a lot. Again, we're at that we're in that generation. It's like, do we have to do this?
I'm just now understanding Instagram. Facebook is fine. Instagram is fine. Twitter, I can't do. TikTok.
If you see any creative post by us, it's my wife or one of our wives that made us do it. I assure you.
That is awesome.
Yeah. It was not us.
But
Well, Ricky,
Well, thank y'all so
Really
much, man. It was a
appreciate it.
blast.
Thanks again for listening. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at the Nashville Dads and to subscribe to us on Apple and Spotify podcast. We record at New Light Podcast Studio and episodes are produced by me, Devin.